name is Sanjay Mathur. I'm the Executive Director of AVANCE-El Paso. AVANCE is a community program. We're located in El Paso, Texas, the fourth poorest city in the United States on the U.S.-Mexico border. We're about 82% Hispanic. And AVANCE is a program that especially targets and works with low-income families with children birth to 4 years old. We work with schools, we work with other organizations in the community, and we target these families because our belief is that reaching children early in life and establishing a strong foundation for learning, for social skills, and reaching them through the parents, training the parents to be their first and most influential, most constant teachers, has a long-lasting impact on the children. And we work so much with the parents. They also come to learn English as a second language. They come to get their GED diplomas with us. They develop job skills. Through our AmeriCorps program, we're able to offer them service opportunities where they're able to learn more and really become part of the mainstream and access the opportunities that the United States has. A number of the AVANCE parents they develop goals to continue their education, and really the average level of education for an AVANCE parent is about 9 years, so it's not a lot. The first step is to get their GED diploma. The message that we give them is don't stop there. In fact, high school diploma is not going to get you much more than a menial, low-paying job without much of a future. We want them to go to college. Those who become AmeriCorps members with us qualify for an education award, and they can go to college and access financial aid. And little by little, we've been able to develop a growing trickle and pipeline of parents and adults who are achieving educationally and going to college and earning degrees, as well as really a much larger and stronger pipeline of children who are coming to school at very high levels, outscoring their peers in the school system by 12 to 15 points on standardized tests, in spite of poverty, in spite of language barriers, in spite of poor housing and the stresses that families in poverty deal with every day. And so to me, that's part of the American dream per se, is that you can come here with a desire to do well, to learn, to play by the rules, so to speak. The country has set up certain systems and supports community programs like AVANCE, so that a child can come here, and even though a child is poor, if parents are involved with the child, they can do well in school. And education is really the key to integration as well as to breaking the cycle of poverty. And in our case, we've got local school districts that want AVANCE, and that keeps our overhead down and enables us to expand somewhat rapidly. Every school that hosts AVANCE, and we're in 14 El Paso schools right now with about 2 more to open in the fall, provides a classroom for the children and a classroom for the adults, and some provide more. Now, AVANCE is much more than a parenting program. At all of our schools, it begins as a parenting program. Why would parents come? Well, their kids don't come with instructions when they're born. There's no school for parents, and it's a gap that we help to fill. I think immigrant parents in particular know that they're in a new country and they have to learn a new way. So if anything, they're more open to new ideas because they know they're in a new place. So they're receptive, and what they all have in common is they want to do the best for their kids. They want to do the best for their children. They realize that they might not be able to succeed as much as their own dreams, but they believe in the promise of America for their children, and they know it starts early, and they know it has to start with them. It's very important for a program like ours not to think that 6-7 years of education is something no one can do anything about, because the fact is the adults already feel that way. The self-esteem is not high. Anyone of us, anyone listening to this video, if you think that you left school at 6th or 7th grade, what would your life be like now? Okay? It's very different. They require motivation and support and praise and validation, and they need to be told how important they are. Because they are important to their children, they're also important to the community. The United States has not written people off, and that's something that is part of this nation's promise. And in Avance, it's the nature of the program not to write people off. We are a program that really respects and values and validates both languages and both cultures. It's about adding a language and introducing elements of the American culture, which many of them they already respond to that. In terms of language, it's really about adding a language and not substituting or taking away. And all of the Avance kids learn their first words of English at Avance. They wind up transitioning to schools that will teach them initially a fair amount of Spanish, but also in English, and they come to school ahead.
Let me tell you what attracted us to Avance. Again, this is a program that serves hard-to-reach populations that are often unserved, that is to say very low-income populations in El Paso, but also spread out across the city and in the colonias of El Paso. And they're very aggressive about their outreach. This is a representative of a large, durable, multi-service organization that has worked in these fields for years. It takes a very smart, multi-generational approach to reform. It works both with children and with parents, and it focuses very heavily on the parents. It works on the important issue of parent training and development, which is critical to immigrant integration, but is often overlooked in terms of what's programmed across the country. And it works also in the area of adult literacy and family literacy. What's striking about it is this is a program, an anti-poverty program, that has very good metrics. It keeps very good metrics. It's also striking in that it's very entrepreneurial. It doesn't just rely on public funding. It goes out and does a lot of private funding. And all this works towards a kind of stability and long-term durability that we were looking for in a program.
Pluribus Unum, as I've been telling my staff, is out of many, one. You know, those three words capture what the educational process is also about. You become part of mainstream society, you have the same opportunities as everybody else, and you also learn about American culture, responsibilities, and expectations. And I think through education of immigrants, you help them to be and to feel Americans. Without the educational process, they're going to be the gardeners, the maids, the laborers. They're going to do what they can for their kids, everything they can within their circumstances, but they're not going to achieve the same integration, the same opportunities that they can achieve through education. And if you didn't have a program like Avance or other immigrant integration programs, you would just be expecting integration to happen naturally and automatically. That's not what the country should do. The country should have an active program to teach newcomers about the United States.